Okay, we got to play musical cars here. Billy's about to drop off the Fox body so I can do the exhaust on that. It's 9:30 at night. I just finished up on this car. This car's been in here for quite some time. This is a buddy of mine's car. It's a rally car, a Subaru WRX. I don't usually do too much in the rallying as far as to the public, just people I know. I'm more like to drag stuff, but I'll do it if they want to pay. Anyways, I also got a 69 Camaro in here. It's in for a roll cage, but this car is getting picked up tomorrow. This car, I need to start on it still. And then the Fox body needs to go here. So, this is the game plan. I don't know how well game plan is going to be. And what sucks is I haven't had time to properly organize any of this. I keep buying shit and still have no home for it. By the way, this is a must-have. This is one of those Harbor Freight fixture tables, and they're great if you put wheels on them because they're already not flat enough when they come. It's a good weld bench, just working around the car so you don't have... Anyways, I want to bring this car a little bit more over here and also back to about the edge of that jack. So I'll have a good 6-7 foot between the jack or the back of the car and the table. That'll give me room to shuffle that in between the nose and all that garbage. Get this pushed out, have the Mustang pull in to this spot. This car is going to stay where I position it, over and back. And then I'm going to have the Fox body come up to about the edge of this jack. It's about 5 foot away from the toolbox. And then that will allow me to diagonally perk the Subaru. That's the game plan in my head anyways. So I need to open the garage door. I need to take all these pieces of tube out. That goes to this car. Just lay it out of the way for right now. Do my monkeying. All my fiddle fucking, so I can get the, oh, it's been a thing. Now I got you up there so you can keep eyelids on me to make sure I'm not monkeying around, doing the monkeying of the cars around. See what I did there? Actually, no, I think I'm gonna take the tube and just stack it all up against here. It's just gonna roll and all that goodness. Well, everything fits. Work on this comfortably. This will get moved again once this car leaves tomorrow afternoon. And then while I'm waiting for pickup on that, I can work on this. This is gonna get a bit tricky. I don't know how I'm gonna do it yet. I'm just gonna have to sleep on it. But it's tight right here. And we wanna do hood exits. It had a full exhaust on there, but it kept burning up plug wires and all kinds of stuff. So we're just gonna put little Dr. Pepper shooters coming out of that hood there. But we're very limited on the height space. So I'm thinking, this is me just thinking, is we take the cold side and we plumb it. You know, you might have to get a different hose or whatnot. We're going to redo these lines, more than likely move the canister up here on the firewall, and then run the cold tubing down there where that other one comes through. And we might take the turbo side and have it come through this hole and give us a little bit more room. It's just very tight, especially right here, trying to get the exhaust to, and we of course want them to look the same. We're going to think on it. I'm going to see the material that he's bringing to see if we can make any of it work. Like it's one of those simple but difficult projects. It's simple because it's going to be just basically a 90, but it's difficult because it's tight. And I try to avoid doing pie cuts at all costs. It's unnecessary work. You know, gas, time, all that. Now, if you're just learning how to do it and you want to practice, you know, go right ahead. It's a good way to practice. But time is money. And if it don't call for it, I won't do it. So I went ahead and took this tubing and then the tubing down that goes to the turbo. I took it off so I can kind of see what we got going on here. I turned the turbo, that way the inlet is facing the wheel well. I think I want to route this basically where this one is, then have this one come up where this one was, because we have just enough room to have this come through so that way we can enter into here and then still have room for the exhaust. That's what I got thinking so far. I'm most definitely going to build the exhaust first because that's the most crucial, and then we can kind of that way we can kind of fathom this and snake it in there and get all freaky with it. Another thing I like to do is I like to lay out all the parts I have on the table, so that way you can kind of see what you got and see what you can and can't make work. So, and also get yourself a little rolling cart. You can put all your shit on there, all your tools, all that. It's a game changer. And you got lazy ass just sleeping. He's supervising, that's all. Anyways. So unfortunately, I do have to do pie cuts. I'll show you how I do that here in a second after I explain what's going on. Goodness, I don't like pie cuts. There's a lot of time involved. And believe it or not, I've never done it before. And this is the first time I'm doing it. But anyways, so I got one little 90. Well, I'm missing a piece to make it a 90, but bear with me for a second. And I made this little template. I'll show you how I did the math on that, or lay it out as well. I'm just using this to kind of gauge if I need to add more pie cuts to make this happen, or can I get away with a tight 90? I'm not entirely sure. The game plan is, since we're doing hood stacks basically, and we're limited on room, I kind of want to have this pretty close over top of the turbo. Just, there's multiple things. One, it's isolated from everything else. And two, these turbos aren't positioned in the same exact spot. But going over top of the turbo, one, it gives me a lot more room. But two, I can adjust it so as it comes out of the hood, they're exactly the same. Underneath the hood be a little different, but poking through, they'll be pretty close to the same. This is practically what I want, and that's tight as it already gets. I need to loop it back and tie it into this piece. This is the tightest radius that we can find. I believe it's a 3-inch center line, and it still isn't, it's still not tight enough. But anyways, pie cuts. Not a fan of them, but they need done. So I'm gonna continue figuring this out, and then once I get something tacked up, I'll update you. This is how I came up with how to make my pies, that radius and stuff like that. So I typically use grid paper. I go ahead and pretty much draw a center point. So we're just going to draw a line here, and then we're just going to draw a line down here, just with the grid paper, just like that. We'll continue this all the way to the piece of paper. So now since we put a T in there, or a center point, most pie cuts are a 15 degree with a 7.5 cut. So each pie cut, time to stack them together, is a 15 degree deal. But, so I'm only going to draw a few of them for simplicity's sake. So we're going to do 75 for the first 15. You come to that cross point with your protractor here, and then we're going to go to 60. Go back to the center point, and we're going to go to 45, back to the center point, and then we're going to go to 30 and back to the center point. Okay, and now let's make these a little bit longer here. So now from that center point, you want to measure out what thickness that you want the inside webbing to be. And what I mean by the inside webbing, I mean the short end of the pie. Obviously you don't want it 0, but I left about 3/16 gap in between each one, so you can come out, for this demonstration, we'll come out a 1/2 inch just to make, it'll be about 3/16, but we'll come out a 1/2 inch from the center point out. Oh, we'll do it a few more times. Come 1/2 inch, and we'll come 1/2 inch. And then from that 1/2 inch point, you want to come out the tube diameter. So in this case, it is a 3-inch. So we're going to come out 3 inches, and that's going to be our diameter of what we're going to make our pie cut at. And that's what we're going to make the pie cut at. And that will give you a template of how you want to do it. And then when you put it in the saw, you cut one side and you measure it after it was cut. But after that, you're just going to connect the lines, point A to point B. And that's basically how you come up with a template that you can use to build your pie cut parameters. So this is the method that I chose to use to cut this. I'm using a cheap pair of calipers from Harbor Freight. They're like $20, so the 4-inch style. And I have to measure from the clamp out on the long side every time. Unfortunately, I couldn't come up with a stop. And it would just take too much time to save time in this aspect. But it is a bit messy. I should have had that garage door open, but instead decided to sniff on grinding dust just like what the Mafia used to do. But, man, I'm looking strong. But you can see I just created a pie. Now, I will say these gloves here are a must-have. I don't know if they're true rawhide, but this is, we call them TMU. cows, but this is the equivalent of putting rubber bands on a goat on a farm, just with metal. And here in a second, right now, there's a line right there on the clamp that you can see that I measured from the base up, and that's how I know what my center line is. Now we're tacking. Now we're getting frisky. Look at that bald-ass motherfucker right there. But anyways, we're tacking it up. I think I'm using a number 12 cup to tack all these up. They're from Furic. Most definite thing that it's the most definite investment that I'm glad I invested in, because it really served its purpose throughout this whole project here. And damn pie cuts. They're great for Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving if you're seeing this. But very, very, very tedious. They're great if you need to use them in a tight pinch or learn how to do things, but I try to avoid it at all costs if I have to, just because of how much time it takes to actually build these things. Now here I am flipping the eyelids back to make sure it matches the other side. Usually the first one's always the easiest. The second time's always the hardest, trying to mirror it to the first time. And that's why I always struggle. Roll cages, anything I do, that's just what I struggle in, and here we are doing it. This is what I got going on. I got the driver's side pretty well all done. There's a few little ornaments we got to do to this thing, but for the most part, it's done. It's about 99% done. Now I got to mirror it. Like I said, the turbos aren't exactly in the same spot on the car, but I want them to come through the hood in the same place. That way everything's symmetrical when the car is ready to race. Got the old pie cuts all taken care of down there. Not too shabby. Not bad for my first time. Not bad. So this side, I went ahead, I made a shit ton of pie cuts over there on the saw, as you've seen. Just getting them out of the way because they're time consuming to deburr and all that. I could probably get a different blade for this saw. This is just one of those abrasive ones. I could probably get a different one, be less cleanup, because with these, it leaves all this nasty shit behind. And with it being stainless, it's aggressive on tools and belts and stuff. But anyways, this was about 3 foot. I just chopped them down, put them in a box, and deburred some of them, not all of them. But anyways, these ones are all tacked together. I just got 7 of them, I believe, right here. Oh, shit. You know who's pulling up as I'm trying to explain? Billy. The wrong time. Damn. This is my first time. I don't think it looks too bad.
Honestly, this might be some of your best work.
Thank you. Those cups really make a big difference.
I can see that. It definitely takes a lot of patience.
Oh, 100%.
All those pie cuts.
Well, like I was saying, I cut a bunch of them and just shoved them in a box.
Looks good. I usually don't like pie cuts that much, but that actually looks pretty freaking good. And it's not like pie cuts make me mad when somebody didn't have to do them.
Yes.
But with this, it's like
you have to.
It's a purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't make a tight enough radius to. This side isn't too bad, but there's no sense to reinvent the wheel when I already got it figured out on that side.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah, I got that side tacked up
One
there.
step closer to stick banging.
Yeah, that's it, brother. Let's see. I still got to put the O2 sensor button on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Are we putting another one over there?
No, just one.
This looks like one of those damn dryer vent things.
We should just use that flexi pipe.
Yeah. We're using appliances for an exhaust. What we got now? Oh, hang on, I can actually rotate this. It's kind of crooked. Okay, so this is the passenger side. This has a lot more pies in it. The machine's set at about 55 amps. I'm running a 1 second pre-flow with about an 8.5 second post-flow. The only reason why I'm going so high in the post-flow is because of how tight these gaps are, or how tight the joints are together. And I'm not trying to burn it. I got the backflow, I got the purge. It's a little high right now just because I wanted to make sure, since there's a lot of pies here, make sure to get all the oxygen out. I'm about to turn it down a little bit actually. It gave me time to get everything else set up. Just want enough where there's a little hiss. So I'm going to weld this out. So I got it all welded up, put back in its place. I did weld an O2 sensor bung right down there. And we're gonna chop these down a little bit in height. I'm gonna cut holes in the hood, but the next thing I have to do is run the cold side for the turbo and the intake. Well, that's going to do it for this video here. I appreciate everybody for watching.